The Place Inside with your host, Laurence Galian.
Welcome to the April 25th edition of The Place Inside. We'd like to begin tonight by talking about a top secret memo. It's a redacted CIA memo that some suggest that President John F. Kennedy wanted more information on UFOs during the Cold War. Now, many of you I know have heard that the reason for Kennedy's assassination was specifically this, that he wanted to delve into the entire UFO issue. Well, from William Lester, a story that combines UFO cover-ups with the assassination of John F. Kennedy, it's truly a gold mine for those who seek to know. And that's just what author William Lester says he uncovered while conducting research for a new book on Kennedy, a memo written by JFK and addressed to the CIA, in which the president requests confidential information about UFOs. Now, I have to stop and give a proviso here. My biological father, as you know, I was adopted, but my biological father was very good friends with John F. Kennedy and Jacqueline Kennedy. And my father was one of the people tapped to start the Peace Corps program. Anyway, in the never-before-seen top-secret memo supposedly written on November 12th, 1963, the president ordered CIA director to organize the agency's intelligence files relating to UFOs and to debrief him on all quote-unquote unknowns by the following February. 10 days later, Kennedy was assassinated. So, this is truly amazing, and we can imagine certainly that any president would want to know what is going on with this whole UFO issue. Now, Lester claims that the new declassified memo is thus the missing link in a conspiracy theory surrounding another document that many conspiracy theorists think indicates that the CIA killed Kennedy to prevent his involvement in a UFO cover-up. Now, this other document, called the quote-unquote burned memo, was passed to the fringe media in 1999 by an anonymous source claiming to be a former CIA operative. The alleged leaker said he worked for the CIA between 1960 and 1974 and pulled the memo, which experts have never verified as authentic, from a fire when the agency was burning some of its most sensitive files. In the burned memo, the CIA director at the time, his name is blacked out, as so much of the UFO information is, wrote, quote, Lancer, the CIA's code name for JFK, has made some inquiries regarding our activities, which we cannot allow. Please submit your views no later than October. Your action in this matter is critical to the continuance of the group, unquote. The new memo, Lester said, proves JFK really was probing the CIA about UFO intelligence, and that the CIA might have taken steps to prevent this. Quote, if Kennedy had gotten some level of control of this issue from NASA or the CIA, Who's to say he wouldn't have disclosed that information to the American public? Who knows where that would have led, Lester commented. So this is something very fascinating, and I wanted to bring this to your attention immediately. Next, we go directly to Jerusalem. A UFO was seen directly over what is known as the Dome of the Rock, one of Jerusalem's most holy sites. Several videos showing a glowing light above the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem have sparked claims of a UFO above the city. Millions of people have viewed the video clips, which show a bright circular object hovering above the 2,500-year-old shrine. And many people think that this goes back much, much further, because we know that the Catholic Church and the Jewish people would always place their shrines, their temples, their churches on places of power, the pagan places. Don't let anyone tell you that the word pagan is a bad word. There is a cover-up in place about a disinformation in place about the word pagan. It comes from the Latin word paganus or pagani, which simply means the people of the country. In other words, country folk. More specifically for the Christians, for the Catholic Church, those who have not converted to Christianity. And so therefore they were considered evil and damned, and their sacred worship was worshiping the devil, in the opinion of the Catholic Church. So that's where pagan got its bad name, but it actually only means country boy, country folk, that's all. Anyway, the UFO suddenly appears in the dark sky in Jerusalem, plunging down to the buildings in front of stunned tourists. One can be heard crying out, "Is that a UFO? It's amazing!" The object then speeds straight back up into the sky and disappears in a flash, prompting more gasps. The YouTube video dated January 28 has fueled the UFO lobby, who believe extraterrestrials exist, and sparked an online debate about the prospect of life on Earth. Yes, folks, now this is really getting into the media, this debate about the prospect of life beyond Earth. Everybody is chiming in, from physicists like Michio Kaku, brilliant people. This is not considered fringe anymore. It is very fascinating now that UFOs are appearing over major metropolises. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. One viewer of this video wrote, quote, "Aliens are real. What's to say there is no other form of life in over millions of planets in the galaxies?" So, former Ministry of Defense UFO investigator Nick Pope told Fox News, quote, "If these videos are real, they are some of the most incredible videos ever shot. If they are not, then this is a very well-planned and coordinated hoax designed to eliminate elements of doubt." He continues, "The way it shoots up into the sky suggests it is unmanned, because no living thing could survive those kinds of G-forces." Well, I beg to differ there, because as we've discussed, Life exists on many different planes of reality, each plane having its own set of laws and rules. But Nick goes on and it says, we know that the Israeli army has some very high-tech drones at its disposal. If this is one, it is one of the most advanced pieces of technology created by man, unquote. Now, it is certainly true that Israel is the recipient of a huge amount of money from just the United States alone. Do you know, folks, that we send Israel $8 million a day? $8 million a day. And we also send them weapons, which they are then free to distribute and sell to other countries who are our enemies, and using those weapons against us. Well, a quick few words about the Dome of the Rock. This is the most famous Islamic site in Jerusalem, and it is the crowning glory of the Temple Mount. It can be seen from all over the city. When I was in Jerusalem, it's just stunning. It's this golden dome that you can see from everywhere, and it's one of the main symbols of Jerusalem. The Muslim shrine is built from sacred stone. Stone carries great powers. You've heard about the powers of crystals. Now, we have to be very careful. In the New Age movement, there is a lot of valuable information, but simultaneously, there is a kind of disinformation. A disinformation designed to make the movement seem flaky, lacking in substance, meaning, and so forth. And so therefore, serious researchers tend to shy away from the New Age movement because they think it's made of people who are not really researching in depth this information. But take the information given by the New Age movement and then explore it more deeply yourself. Because yes, in crystals, in precious stones, contain enormous power. Okay? So please do not write this off as New Age bunk. That's what they want you to do. Investigate it for yourself. So this Muslim shrine is built from sacred stone. And if you do any investigating about stones and Muslims, you'll find also that in the Kaaba, the sacred site where all Muslims pray 5 times a day, there is a sacred stone built into the Kaaba, which some say is a meteorite. We can talk more about that later. But anyway, in Jerusalem, the foundation stone is laid on what is believed to be the spot where the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven during his night journey. Now, a lot of traditional Muslims believe that Muhammad kind of flew up into heaven like he was a little birdie during his night journey. But those of us who have really researched this realize that this was a Kundalini experience that the Prophet Muhammad was having. The Prophet Muhammad meditated for years and years in a cave by himself. There is also secret teachings that his wife sent him to a secret mystery school in Mecca. So again, don't pay attention to the people who want to write off the Prophet Muhammad. There is a lot of powerful information there. Again, also this site is also where the great ancient temple of Solomon used to stand until it was destroyed by the Romans in 70 BC. And if you want to learn some fabulous things about the Temple of Solomon, I want you to read William Henry's works. William Henry is an absolute genius, and in his book about Mary Magdalene, he gives out some fantastic information about the Temple of Solomon. So, let us continue. Was a extraterrestrial body, an alien body, found near a UFO crash in Russia? Now, about 1 month ago, it was reported on a major UFO event that occurred in the region of Irkutsk in Russia's Siberia. Let me spell that for you so you can look that up yourself. It's IRKUTSK. Again, IRKUTSK in Russia's Siberia. Hundreds of villagers saw a huge object, glowing pink and blue, hurtle towards Earth before loudly impacting the ground in a wooded area. The event received widespread coverage in Russia and was reported by Interfax, Russia's government news agency. In the West, of course, the event was completely ignored, if not deliberately kept from public view. An enormous team of government officials, including military personnel, Secret Service agents, and Science Ministry officials made their way to the UFO crash site within hours of the event occurring. Now it seems that a video has been leaked onto the internet showing a dead alien found in the Republic of Buryatia, that's Buryatia, not far from the UFO crash. Is this alien in this video real? And I want you to watch this video, but please be aware that the video contains graphic images. So if you have any children, please ask them to leave the room. As I was saying, there is such a flurry of UFO activities taking place all over the world, especially these triangular craft. Now, these are very fascinating because they have been seen all over European cities and all throughout the United States. Now, at first I was prompted to believe that these triangular UFOs were new experimental fighter jets or fighter bombers that the USA was developing. I mean, let's be realistic. Now everyone has seen the new stealth fighter jet and the new stealth fighter bomber. So if we've seen the new stealth fighter jet and the new stealth fighter bomber, that means obviously that there are new top secret fighter jets and bombers in the works, doesn't it? So just like the F-111s, the F-15s, and so forth that were kept secret, and then the stealth technology that was kept secret, so too, of course, the U.S. government and other governments are working on various forms of aircraft that are top secret. But then it also occurred to me, why in blazes would they hover over a major metropolis, major cities in Europe, hover over these cities for great lengths of time, where hundreds of thousands of people saw them, thousands of people photographed them. So that made me wonder, what's going on here? And then the news came that in certain European cities and countries, the word came down from the top echelons of the government that newspapers were forbidden to print any story or photograph of these triangular spacecraft. Forbidden. What happened to freedom of the press? Well, of course that's absurd and a joke, but we know that in Europe they enjoy more freedom of the press, but there it is forbidden in certain countries to do any news story about these triangular craft. And you can see them all over the internet. Now, so it occurred to me, what is going on? And I thought, Project Bluebeam and the experiments of the United States government and England and the Vatican to see what will the general populace do when they see a flotilla of ovnis, UFOs, above their heads. Doesn't that make sense, folks? They want to see what the human populace is going to do when they see the skies filled with a flotilla of UFOs. Now, those of you who want to be kept up to date on the very latest in UFO, alien activity, extraterrestrial activity, you may not know about this, but there is something called Google Alerts Beta. And you can create what's called a Google Alert on any topic you choose. And just search for Google Alerts on the Google homepage, and it will take you to a page where you can create your very own Google Alert request. And this can be on any topic that you have a personal interest in, that you may be researching at the moment. If you're researching a particular abduction or sighting, or you just want to know what's the latest alien, UFO, extraterrestrial, crop circle, you name it, you can put that in, and it will tell you in the last 24 hours. You can adjust the timeline when that information has come in. So this is one way to keep abreast of exactly what's going on in the world, and also to obtain information before the spin doctors have a chance to start to alter it. So in this transmission of The Place Inside, I want to give you a few tips on how you can experience directly a UFO if you have never seen one before in your life. Now, to do so, we must go to the subject of magnetism. Magnetism was a very hot topic about 125 years ago or so. The great hypnotist Mesmer was said to have magnetic powers that hypnotism was a product of magnetism. And Mesmer was supposed to have these magnetic eyes. People were afraid to shake hands with him. Magnetism is a very fascinating subject, and just because mainstream science has told us no, it does not exist, and has told us that we need to go on to real science, are you going to obey them, this religion of science, this scientism? Well, I'm not. And I have been investigating the subject of magnetism very deeply. One important fact about magnetism is that women possess more magnetism than men. If you notice, if you go to any church, especially any yoga class or New Age group or channeling group, what do you see? Mostly women, because women vibrate naturally with these magnetic frequencies. So, suggestion number one, if you want to experience a UFO, go out UFO hunting, stargazing, sky gazing, with a woman who has seen UFOs. Better yet, with a woman who has actually experienced either an abduction or seen alien beings. Because there is a magnetic connection there. And by her very nature, she will call out to the alien craft to come to you wherever you may be. So again, the first step, if you do wish to see a UFO, take with you a woman who has seen UFOs before, and preferably a woman who has either been abducted or who has seen actual alien beings. Okay? Next, there was a gentleman, is a gentleman. I had the great honor of meeting him in person. He's from Peru. His name is Sixto Paswell, and he is a very fine man, an intelligent man, someone who, if someone says to you, well, all UFO researchers are kooks and crazy and whatnot, have them look at an interview with Sixto Paswell, and you will see a very fine, well-spoken, well-dressed, intelligent human being who has had numerous experiences with UFOs. Now, unfortunately, most of his videos are in Spanish, but I do urge you, if you speak any Spanish at all, or just to see him and soak up some of his vibrations. His name, first name Sixto, Sixto, second Paz, Paz, third Well, Well. And he's up there with David Icke, with Lee Straber, all the best. He's is truly amazing. Here in Mexico City, there recently, about a year ago, was a World UFO Summit where everybody who's anybody attended. It was truly amazing 3-day event, and I had the good honor of having my photograph taken with Sixto Paswell. So the reason I bring him up, not just to hold him up as a wonderful example of a person who's really got their stuff together and is explaining things very clearly, but the reason I mention him is because of the way that he has been able to attract UFOs. He got a group together, okay? It's a fairly large group he got together. I'd say about 30 people. You can see the video on YouTube. And they simply chanted some basic chants. You know, I've taught you and suggested to you various books that you can read. One of the most powerful chants that exist in the whole world is Om. But it is not, as people commonly think, O-M. It actually consists of 3 letters, A-U-M, okay, for the creating power, the maintaining power, and the destroying power in this earth. You know, in your own body, that every minute billions of cells are being killed because they're old, they're sick, they're dangerous, so on and so forth. At the same moment, billions of cells are being born, and at the same moment, billions of cells are being maintained. The ancient Hindus knew about this millions of years ago, and they framed it in the ancient sound called Aum. So you start with the A, the A, then you move to the U, the U, and then finally the M, which closes all of existence. So it sounds like Now you can have 30 people doing this, and you want everybody to be focusing on contacting an alien craft, an alien being, asking it to come into your space. And I guarantee you will receive an answer if you do this steadily and regularly. You will receive an answer, because UFOs, extraterrestrials, ovnis, whatever you want to call them, are an integral part of our world. This is not something that is rare. It's not a rare phenomena, not at all. So this way that I'm teaching you now, get a group together, go out into the wilderness and start chanting together. And mind you, please, please, please bring your cameras. How many times have people seen UFOs close up, very close, and they don't have their camera with them? There is no excuse anymore, because almost all your cell phones have cameras and video in them. Please, please do not do any UFO research without carrying a camera with you. If you're just basically into studying UFOs, have a camera in your glove compartment in your car at all times, please. So let us continue. Just before we get off the subject of Sixto Paz Wells, I do want to bring to your attention something really exciting. There is a video that is actually showing how Sixto Paz Wells contacts extraterrestrials. The title of the video is Sixto Paz Wells - Guided Meditation - Part 1, and it is posted by Heart of the Healer, all one word, Heart of the Healer. Again, Sixto Paz Wells - Guided Meditation - Part 1. It is Sixto Paz Wells demonstrating for you with an interpreter speaking in English right behind him. Please watch this video. Okay. I also want to bring to your attention a man by the name of Bob Dean. And if you do not know this man and his work, I highly suggest that you Google him, you watch videos of him on YouTube. There are some extensive interviews with Bob Dean. Bob Dean is a very elderly gentleman, but a true gentleman he is. I again had the pleasure of seeing him at the Mexico World Summit UFO conference, and what a gentleman, what a brilliant man, and what a knowledgeable man. Bob Dean holds what's known as a cosmic security clearance on this matter of unidentified flying objects, if you will. These videos were made possible by Project Camelot, which you may be familiar with. They are really doing their very best to do extensive interviews, in-depth interviews, with all the most well-known people in this field, so that their words, their faces, their information can be put down for posterity. And they also do a very good job of pulling information out of certain people, information that to date they have not yet revealed. And in the case of Bob Dean, they are very successful in getting more and more information out of him than he originally intended to reveal. And he is a person with a very, very positive outlook, that he constantly reminds us, in his words, we have friends in high places. And he wants us to know that no matter how bleak it looks here on this earth, that we do have powerful friends in the universe, and they can, will, and are going to help us. Okay? So it's so important to keep this in mind, and to know this, because what you feel inside you, we've gone over this, what you feel in your heart of hearts is that which you're going to manifest. And if you believe that there is an intergalactic federation of light, if you believe that we have friends in high places in the universe that love the planet Earth and the beings who live on planet Earth and want to protect it from evil negative forces, then we can breathe a sigh of relief. And Bob Dean is here to remind us of this simple fact. He doesn't have many years left to be with us on this plane. So therefore I urge you, if any way possible that you can see Bob Dean in person, do so. Just one of his videos on YouTube is entitled World's Most Important News, Part 1, UFO Alien Real Cover-Up. Again, World's Most Important News, Part 1, UFO Alien Real Cover-Up. And it's posted by Most Important News. And I would just like to remind you that I myself have extensive videos on YouTube. My YouTube handle is Gargeniture. Gargeniture means to cause to come into being. And Gargeniture is spelled Gargeniture, all one word. Gargeniture, Gargeniture. Now you look at my videos. I have the past episodes of The Place Inside, Mind Control, Alien Archon Invasion, Gnostic Galactic Core, The Metaphysical Warrior and the Body Field, Project Bluebeam and the Metaphysical Freedom Fighters, and the first episode of The Place Inside. We also have The Secret Within Music, Gurdjieff, Steiner and the Sufis, and Nikola Tesla, the forgotten father of today. Further down, therianthropes, shapeshifters in ancient cave art, and one of my most successful videos called Cosmic War, Ancient Trauma and Secret Technology by Laurence Galian. This was posted September 16th, 2010. So far it's gotten 2,282 views. Again, it's entitled Cosmic War, Ancient Trauma and Secret Technology by Laurence Galian. And just on my Gargeniture channel, you can find many interesting topics filled with many videos spanning various religions, scientific movements, enlightenment, health, the first people, which is a very special subject near and dear to my heart, Gurdjieff, let's see what else we have here, so many, lucid dreaming, manifestation, many videos on various types of music, because I'm a professional musician, orgone, psychotronics, radio, we have tarot, or tarot, however you want to pronounce it, 2012, UFO 1 and UFO 2, and all the videos from the We Are One Somos Uno website. So I urge you to check out my page on YouTube. The name is Gargeniture, and I think you'll find many things there that you will enjoy. So that ends the transmission for tonight, April 25th, 2011. We will be in contact soon.